This is my latest piece of artwork. Pokemon Village in the Clouds animation. But it's not animated, and there's a reason why. So where do I start with this? I think the sketch is probably the best place. I've got it here. Originally I sketched this up and it was a stupid idea to make that bench, to be fair. I think it's stupid to go 3D and curvy. It's stupid. But I tried. You can see a lot of it sort of made it in, but a lot of it didn't as well. So it's also flipped. This is the original sort of shape and size of it as well. And yeah, some of it remained, surprisingly. Other parts didn't. And there's also going to be some details as well. I forgot to add the flowers to the bloody bushes. Oh well. I'm not really bothered at this point. But the most important part you'll probably notice is it's missing a book here. I call these the Caleb Islands, which I think is basically sky. It stands for sky in another language. And it's basically on the border of Galar, like around it rather. Yeah, here's Galar. Because the Galar region was alright. I didn't like the game that much, but I think as a concept it was nice. You know, someone who's literally born and lives in the UK, it's amazing. And obviously, above it, well, close to us, is the Sky Islands, which is where this floating village comes from, and this is a floating village too, hence the water line around here. Probably could do a getting brush, do red because that's not appearing in this, but this is the water line, and this is a floating island in itself. And obviously around it you've got these other bits which are also UK sort of based. It's all sort of UK related. You've got like the fields there. For some reason my voice sounds really weird. It's all interesting. Like, got tons of detail here, and the clouds I forgot to mention that you see in the Firelight image, I already made as a standalone because I was experimenting. I was trying to find a bunch of clouds that worked, which were quick to make, rather convenient enough to make, although they're easy to make. And I ended up making them. And yeah, obviously one of the things here is like there's a cute Eevee that's going to be animated as well. I did have the Eevee stone somewhere, I think, yeah, here, but it's I didn't draw that in at first. Yeah, the idea of the Sky Islands is just like it had a fantasy twist, and for all we know, because this could just be like in the past, like before even the current timeline of Pokemon, and it's a shame because Pokemon is now just a hollow shell. Anyway, about the image itself, this took me months to make. It's actually crazy how long it took, and I can't even remember what I started with. I've got all my layers on the side. I could do it putting these in text boxes. I'll just things for another time. Animation folder, wait, is this? Yeah, I can remove that. Yeah, because it's original animation, I've got references here. Got other stuff, got the exposer. I use this trick to find out where I've not filled something in. Yeah, it's not the most amazing image. I even just noticed like some of the sand is showing through, some of the shadows are too red. But this is about as far as I can go at this point, because I'm sort of burnt out from this. There's so much detail in this, and I guess I could go one by one on the layers, like that. Although technically I do need to turn that off, but you're probably seeing everything sort of as it goes along. So where do we start this? Yeah, so the background. There's a lot of stuff in this. If you're looking at the bottom right, you can see it. Like ocean glow and stuff. There's also an animated layer for this, so if I were animating it, it would have these all fading in and out. There's nothing special there. The cloud reflection is quite self-explanatory. It's like a lower opacity. It's got extra white bits. I did. I don't know whether there they are on the left for some reason because these bits are a bit too bright. Also, I had the idea of making it curved as well because, yeah, fuck it. got to show distance on it somehow. And honestly, this alone looks kind of cool. And also, when we discovered the this trick, where is it? Is it colours? No. Basically, putting a hard light on it. Oh no, it's Ocean Sparkle I used to add glow to make this effect, where it just lightened it up so much that it just looked fucking amazing. And I could have done without using the noise brush, but that still adds extra detail to it. And that's just what adds the detail here. That's what makes it so bright and vibrant. And it just works out so well, because even somewhere here where there isn't necessarily extra colour, it's just going to show up really well. I could show sky. I'll show the mass on select, but this is my sky. I did it with a brush this time rather than a gradient. It turned out kind of better. It's kind of nice. So I've got all that. And I've got my cloud assets from the other image, the ocean, see it one by one. Yeah, it's quite nice as it is. Probably regret not doing this as a standalone. Oh well. Yeah, I will upload the asset file just in case people want to animate or add, but anyway. Then we go on to trees where I have the backfill already done. If I unselect all. So I started out with sketching this for some reason. I didn't do this first, by the way, I did the sketch to make sure it worked. I forgot to unselect this during on the sort of editing bits. I did another fill for the beach, because that would happen later. But it's not really that relevant at the moment. I did the tree leaves, because my rule with this, because I knew that it was going to be complicated, I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. The problem is, the more detail you add, the harder it gets, so it's not easy. But as you can see, I did things on one layer for the most part, and the sticks thing actually was a later addition. Because I only just realised, like, what's the thing missing from these when you look out at it? I wish I had the full image to show, but you know, looking at it, like, if you remove the sticks, it's like, oh, you can't really tell. Oh, hang on. Yeah, they already have some. You can't really tell that they're coming from a tree. If you look closely as well, like, look at this. This just looks horrible. So what can I do that's simple and low effort? And then I realised I can do stick brushes with this weird thing. I couldn't find this brush again because it's really fucking good. But I did this with some noise and went over it briefly, and it really worked. And I did this a few times, like a few brush strokes, like crooked sort of things. I used a sort of a eraser thing, you know, this tool here where you press C and then it sort of fades it out. I use that briefly, again keeping it one there, and I've got the leaves behind thing going on here. Is it leaves behind? No, it's front. Sort of misread that, I think I was looking at the top thing. And leaves back, and you sort of get to see the picture now. So that's the trees. And then I started to add the water stuff. What was this? What's the water and backs? Oh yeah, this. Yeah. So where it's going to be a floating village, you can see the outline. But it sort of works as waves as well. I just added this. And the beach too. I can't do sand for some reason. I don't know why. For some reason there's not a brush for it. So what I did with the sand. And it does stroke through, unfortunately. I suppose I could have edited it, damn it. I'm a bit stupid when it comes to these things. Don't trust me with this. Yeah, this is why I don't do commissions, even for a bit of extra money. And that's the Pokeball, and then the Eevee stones here. This just a random one to make sure I got it right. And Pokemon stone ball shadow. It says stone shadow. I did that later, didn't I? Yeah. It's not on top, and then I did the water reflection in this little pond here. I would remove the things so you can see it, but the shadows here, there's moss, and I tried to make sure it's like, again, as realistic as possible with this sort of thing, and making sure it also works as well, because yeah, like it can look bad sometimes if not done right. Patterns, pattern whites, so I call them. They've got the shadows for them because it just adds an extra detail. That's kind of what happens anyway. Add the pads. I found a brush for this eventually. I was kind of stuck on this for a while. I couldn't figure out how to do the moss and whatever it's called, algae. That's it. Moss. And the pads, and again, one layer rule. And this is quite easy to make, surprisingly. I'm surprised how well it came out. It's just a matter of looking at the thing that you're referencing and trying to find a simple way to make it. It's not too difficult to do at times. When I did my jingle cats for Yogscast not a few years ago, 1 year ago, as of this, I had to find a way to simplify Doomcat, and I eventually did that. And that's sort of the trick I used here. Is making things not only just one layer, but also simplifying it without making it unrecognisable. And you can recognise this as a lily pad even from a fair distance. And the only way I can detail this more is if I add more tones and stuff to the sides here. This is only a 2-brush job in it as well. That's the crazy thing. I'm pretty sure this is like G pen and use a soft brush. It's crazy. And just a lot of colour as well. Well, not a lot, just 3 colours I think. There's like yellow, normal green, and then dark green. And that did the trick. Yeah, it's pretty good. And then we start adding the rock layer, which I wasn't that keen on. I don't like the rocks. So I start with this one. Where do we start? What's W? Oh yeah, I drew these out, that's what that is. Because trying to select these on the backfill just isn't that convenient. So I ended up drawing these back on essentially. I don't know why that's not working. No, I didn't draw those, that's why. And yeah, that's why I've ended up with that. And then I did a texture map for this bit. I did a texture map for this bit as well. I completed that one. I did it in this for some reason, I don't know why. It sort of works, but it sort of doesn't. And because I wanted to distinguish the 2 rocks, like from stepping stones to, well, pond rocks, for lack of a better term, according to my references as well, I wanted to make it different, and then I did an outline to make sure it's more pronounced. And then I did another detail for these rocks, and what sort of ended up on in the end. For some reason there's something missing, because I definitely covered these. Maybe, no, I can't remember what I did with that. That's weird. I'm not sure what that's done. It's gone. And then the bushes, these are the back bushes, you barely see these, and I quite like them. They do look very anime. Added a lot of colour, there's not much to it though. Let's see. Back sticks, yeah, I did sticks as well for these. Don't really see them, but it does kind of add a detail if you do zoom in, and the bushes themselves. Then a coloration with hard light, and see, so I get the brightness. Didn't really do that, did I? No, so there's nothing there. And then I finished off the tree. I didn't actually do this in order, by the way. The bushes actually came, like, the bush and rocks came after the tree. The tree was like the first thing I ever did, because I wanted to make sure I got it right. There's so much to this one though, because I also included the fence as well. As you can see, Jesus, it's going to take a while to explain. You can probably just see for yourself. So I did the wood texture first, then later on I added moss. It was hard to find a good moss texture again. Not sure how to find it. You can see here where it's sort of fucking weird. And this one's a lot better, but it's not great. You see, I'm not an artist. It's really something I'm working on. Added shadows, and then the moss shadow as well. Did I? No. This is for this one. Yes, for this one. It's more like for the branch here. A broken branch. And I did the leaf shadow, whatever that is. What was it? I think. Did I do this? Yeah, that's it. It's like the texture for the leaves coming off down here. I did more, I think, in the end. leaves tree. Yeah, there's more leaves around it. Sort of adds to it, makes it more pronounced, more like a tree. And leaves stop shadow. It's like a shadow for the leaves, so they don't look too out of place. Yeah, one of the interesting details with the leaves, I forgot about this. When I was making it, I was finding that I was struggling to tell it from the moss, and I eventually just added a dark outline, and I coloured it in and stuff to make sure it's all blended in as well when it needs to. When it's light, it stayed light. When it's dark, it went dark. And that's sort of why it has that sort of cell shady look. It's just a technique I discovered. I don't really know how I found it, it's just random. And they got more shadows here for some reason. Don't know why I did that. That's interesting. I've started to do the bench here as well. The bench detail didn't turn out great, to be honest. And then I did the fence at some point. The metal bit was hard to figure out, I'll be honest. I wasn't sure what to do with that because it looked too out there. I think I eventually fixed it with shadows. And then I did the water beach. Is it? There's nothing in there. There's nothing there. Okay, could do deleting that. Sure. And now we're in the final stages of this. I think I've finished up with the tree, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, where is this? Is there another branch? Oh, it's the front. Yes, that's it. Okay. So I did another layer for the tree. If I see it, yeah. Another branch. That's a fucking weird branch. I did not catch that. That's embarrassing. It's very weird. But it sort of works. I tried to do my best with it. As it sticks, as usual, need to be bigger because they're closer. That's what the idea of this is. I probably could have done with just leaving this as is, to be fair. I'm not sure. All that. Yeah, front branch leaves. So that's the extra leaves. This is sort of why I'll provide the asset file, but here's the detail. It finalises it. Yeah, it's not a bad texture, but it could be better. And obviously the point of the shading you can see now, with the extra layer on top, it's sort of to make it more easy to see. You can see the sticks everywhere. Yeah, it turned out alright. Then there's a bench. There's not much on this, to be fair. It's just the same as before with the metal, and there's an Eevee. Next is the shadow, although that's technically lost, is it? No. No, I did a specific texture for the bench for some reason, a specific shade. I don't think I left it in, did I? I did, okay. I don't know why I did this though. The one thing that didn't survive is the Kalem Islands, as you'll see. I ended up not keeping that. And then it's the grass next. Let's do the front grass. I struggled to find a texture for this at first, but then I found the perfect one. They all just sort of went into place, and I referenced another anime image for the idea. I got the idea to use like a limey sort of green, and then a sort of more gentle like bluish green as well. Which is why you've got such a unique texture here. It sort of mimics some things here, like it sort of looks like UK grass, I'll say that. Not perfectly like this bit does, and then got a more westernised version, lack of correct terms or anything. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I did this. Look at this, try to cover the back outline as much as possible, the backfill. You'll see it here, see it there as well, you can see where it's like blurred. But yeah, I did my best on this. For the rocks, I can't remember. I think I spent like a day or two on the rocks, going over it to remove I'll select the rocks so you can see that section there, and then just remove the grass that was on top of it, carefully, without cutting this bit off, so that the grass is actually surrounding the rocks. So that's sort of the point of that. Yeah, you can see the backfill there. So I'll stand. Then I added some detail, flowers and for lack of a better term. I don't know what this is actually called, this stuff. Let's call it flower. Some like shrubbery. That's probably what it is actually. Yeah, like the flower idea I've wanted to keep for a while. I decided to colour this side for some reason. Not sure why I didn't do this side, but okay. Again, questioning things. I do sleep on this, I swear, and I don't even think about adding something like that. And then I do a shadow for those because you need some way to pronounce them. It sort of works. Then I do a shadow beneath them. I did for the Pokeball as well. It sort of works. I just did a copy and paste, darken them, and then later on I do go over this with a grass brush and shade the taller things. Yeah, it turned out decent, I think. What's this? Oh yeah, I did a backup copy of that. That's why that's could do it for something, I suppose. And finally, not finally, semi-finally, the bushes. I didn't do a good job of these, to be honest. I started at the front. Wasn't sure what to do here. It made sense to make it dark. It was meant to be like a front bush, like looking over it at the EV. Our EV, rather. I couldn't do an outline here because I couldn't figure it out. And I was thinking about removing this, but it sort of works with the other bits there. But yeah, I think it could be improved, obviously. The back bushes are a bit better. You can see the sticks technique again. It's a really new discovery, that is, because I didn't know about this. It's like the last thing I did. I did the. Oh, this is the same brush. Okay. Not sure how I lost that then. That's weird. Yeah, I did a bunch of sticks. Just to make sure that it adds detail. There's 6 anti back brush thing here because I had to do extra things here. Add the bushes themselves. I did these first though. See the sticks. I actually went over the bushes with the soft brush and sort of this thing. I can't remember what it's called. C, the alpha, whatever you call it. Did that and did sticks again for these bushes. Yep. Sort of makes them stick out a bit more, pun intended. And then I added a colour to the bushes at the back to make them more pronounced. Again, this is sort of the key to anime detail, I think. It's about colour knowledge and colour theory, because it looks so much better than this in my opinion. It just adds so much more detail. You've got a story to tell even in this. Just these colours, it's crazy. I love that effect. Ever since I started watching anime many years ago, it's always been something I've liked. What's this? Bush and leaf branch? What the hell is this? I can't see anything. I'm not sure what that's about then. Hopefully I didn't say anything important. Then a yellow rose bush and yeah. Yeah, as I said, I can't really fix this. It's a bit difficult. Technically, no. It's not really fixable, that. I don't know what to do about that, to be honest, and that's why I leave the assets so you can edit it. The way you need to do is go to the bushes. It's called there, bushes layer. Select this. And just do it all, delete on all the fucking layers, and there you go. It's gone. You can do that yourself. Then we get to another interesting part, the shadows. This is what defines it, and I did it all in one layer because it made more sense, and this was a task and a half. It took me a good week or two to do this alone. I started using like a dark brown colour because that, again, adds pronunciation. Where do we start with this though? I didn't do it on the tree because the tree is already done, same with the bench here. I did it on these. I did a grass brush, as I said. I also cut out a bit of the top here so that it sort of works, it sort of blends in. I did start with like a leaf brush at first, and then I decided not to because that didn't exactly work for what this was. Because you see it here, and it just doesn't look right. But when you add the grass brush, it just makes it so much more realistic. Because what you can do is you can do the inner layer with leaves, and that's what I did, and then you just cut it with the brush around the outlines, and then you still got the effect of leaves there, which is what I did here. But you've got the grass cutting it. That's the point in that, and you can see also here with the foliage and vegetation that added shadows to these, just for the extra detail. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh yeah, it's because it's like a darker one. I went over this in alpha and made it more red in areas where it needed to be. Probably a bit too red, to be fair. What else did I do? These were interesting because I realised that you can't have it. For fuck's sake. Yeah, because I realised that you can't have it exactly like with it all shaded because it looks a bit out of place. So I think what I did was like cut some of the top off with the same grass brush, and that allowed it to have this effect where it's not exactly all shaded. So you got the shadow of the rocks themselves, or stepping stones, whatever you call them, sort of working, doing their thing because the sun's coming from this direction. As you can see with the bushes. And I noticed that the top needs to be a bit more cut out, so that's why I did that. As we move along, now we get to the trees, and I did try out the leaf brush here, surprisingly, but it didn't work. That's the weird thing. I ended up just using the grass brush in the end and doing a few cuts here and trying to make it work. I think it turned out alright, but I used the leaf brush on the rocks and that helps it. Because you can actually use that there, and you have to also squish it a bit. That's the one thing with this. Because of the way the shadows work, you need to sort of have a squished sort of thing going on because it looks a bit out of place if you just do it normally. So I squished the leaf brush up. Which one is it? Pretty sure it's. I've got it selected here, haven't I? Why can't I draw? What's going on? So I have to really unselect that. Okay. Yeah, I got like this thing going on, if you can even see it. But I squished it with the thickness, and that just sort of fixed it. I think I did 43%. Might have been 25. Oh, fuck's sake. Well, Clip Studio Jack, yeah, there we go, 25 is probably the one. And that just adds that nice effect. I did try going over this with like leaf brush as well, but it just didn't work for me for some reason. Not sure what was going on there. But even doing something like this is a bit risky. So yeah, that's that. And then finally we get to the ending, the bloom. This just adds the finishing touch really. It makes everything a bit brighter, merely burn your retinas, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I added some blues, I added a lot of different things here. Have I made it 100%. I did try the Gaussian blur, but it takes so long on this image because it's 8K. I decided 8K because the higher the quality, the better, the longer it'll last. But to be honest, there are not many people doing 8K images anyway, so, you know, that's something. Yeah, I added as much bloom as I could. Kept it at 75% in the end, that seems to be the sweet spot. Added it here, added it on the ocean, added it on the sky, the leaves, even the tree where it could appear. There's a secret message here, try and find it. Yeah, it's not a nice message to be fair. You can see some of the rock outlines, but that's okay. Yeah, this is the image. That's as good as it's going to get, I think. I'm not willing to spend any more time here. I forgot about the fence. Yeah, the shadows did kind of fix it. Yeah, I did my best on this. It was really a big fucking task. That's what's going on there. That's weird. Yeah, it's a massive task to do, to undertake, and to animate it as well, and to do the other bits, the background as well. Like, nah, not worth it. It's already took over 3 months to do, I think, and I just want to move on to other things at that point. Just wasn't worth it. But there we go, that's the artwork. You can download it in description, you can download the asset if you want, the Clip Studio file rather. Also, I forgot to show this. I got a bunch of text with the things I was going to do with this, so see, I can remove some of this. There's some of the to-do bits. Need to go. I'm sure I just can't delete them, just normally. This Clip Studio Paint for you, it's just jank. Can remove that. You can remove that. Also save the brushes, that's actually why that's there. But yeah, I decided to colorize the layers before I decided to give up on it into what I wanted them to be. So blue was like animated stuff, so shadow would be animated, Eevee would be animated. I'll do that separately, I think, possibly. Probably be better, to be fair, like as an overlay. You know, that'll work perfectly. It's going to animate quite a few things, and purple's where it's animated and still. So it's like a combination of two. So there we go. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or anything, I'm happy to answer them. Yeah, let's move on.